Welcome. Tonight, let your mind drift into the quiet corners of the English language. You're about to hear a collection of rare and beautiful words, each one chosen for its uniqueness, its sound, and the way it settles gently on the tongue. There's no story to follow, no plot to remember, just a slow, peaceful unfolding of language, designed to lull you to sleep. The images will stay dark, but whimsical. The words will flow, and all you have to do is listen. Let's begin. Dabchick, small grebe, daboya, large Indian viper, dacnomania, obsession with killing. Dacoitage, robbery by gang or mob. Dacriops, wateryness of the eyes. Dactylioglyph, engraver of rings or of gems. Dactyliology, study of rings. Dactyliomancy, divination by means of a finger. Dactylogram, fingerprint. Dactylography, the study of fingerprints. Dactyloid, like or resembling a finger. Dactylology, study of sign language. Dactylomancy, divination using rings. Dactylomegaly, condition of having abnormally large digits. Dactylonomy, counting using the fingers and toes. Dactyloscopy, comparing fingerprints for purpose of identification. Dado, large wooden moulding along bottom of wall. Daedal, formed with art, displaying inventive skill. Daedalist, aviator, pilot. Dag, dirty tatted tuft of sheep's wool. Dargarad, brightly coloured South African fish. Dal, a dried legume such as lentils, beans or peas. Dalmatic, ecclesiastical robe or other outer vestment. Dalton, unit of atomic mass. Damascene, decorate or engrave metal with wavy lines and patterns. Damask, fine lustrous fabric with flat patterns and a satin weave. Damene, having antlers like a fallow deer. Dammer, hard resin used in making varnish. Damnification, causation of injury or loss. Damoiseau, male form of damsel, a young man not yet dubbed a knight. Damson, dark brownish purple. Dansette, deeply indented. Danism, lending money on usury. Dap, to dip gently into water to fish with the surface fly. Dapatical, lavish, sumptuous, costly. Daphnomancy, divination using a laurel. Dapifer, one who brings meat to the table. Dapacaginous, mean-spirited, heartless. Darbies, handcuffs. Darby, large trowel for levelling concrete or plaster. Darcy, unit of permeability of rock to various substances. Darkle, to grow or make dark. Darain, to vindicate, to justify or prove. Dash, non-specific very small unit of measurement used in cooking. Dashpot, shock absorber. Dasypeltis, small African egg-eating snake. Dasyphilus, having crowded, thick or woolly leaves. Dasypoides, types of birds having downy feathered young. Dasyur, flesh-eating marsupial. Datary, papal officer who registers and dates bulls and edicts. Dation, act of giving, conferring or donating. Dative, indicating indirect object of a verb. Davenport, small ornamental writing desk, large sofa. Davit, device for hoisting and lowering a boat. Daw, simpleton, bird of the crow family. Deaconing, act of putting best-looking goods on top of pile. Deadeye, rounded wooden block with hole used to set up ship's stays. Dead house mortuary. Deadstock, farm equipment. Deadwood, timbers built into ends of ship when too narrow to permit framing. Delate, insect divested of its wings, dealbation, whitening, bleaching, deambulatory, place for walking around or about in, dearticulate, to disjoint, diesel, sunwise motion, debarrass, to disembarrass, disentangle, free, debel, to conquer in war, debellate, to conquer or overcome through battle, debouche, to issue or emerge, to flow from a confined place, débouchure, mouth of a river or strait, debridement, the removal of foreign matter from a wound, decadarchy, government by 10 individuals, decarchy, decadist, author who writes works in 10 parts, decalcomania, process of transferring a design onto a surface using specially prepared paper, decalescence, point in heating metal where it appears to cool, decalogist, exponent of rules such as the 10 Commandments, decalvant, removing hair, depilatory, decamerous, having parts in tens, decanal, located on the south side of the choir in a church, decanal, of, like or pertaining to a dean or deacon, decantate, to chant or say repeatedly, decarcy, government by 10 individuals, decare, 1,000 square meters, decarnate, denied or deprived of physical bodily form, decastige, 10-line poem, decatese, to uncurl through the use of steam or moisture, decordate, to cut off the tail of, decelerometer, instrument for measuring deceleration, decenival, of, like or pertaining to the number 19, decession, departure, decimestral lasting 10 months, decal, ragged edge of paper, déclassé, below one's social class, declinometer, instrument for measuring magnetic declination, declivity, place that slopes downwards, inclination downwards, decoct, to prepare or extract by boiling, to devise, decollate, to behead, to disorganize, decomplex, repeatedly compound, decorticate, to remove the bark, husk or peel of, decoupage, the application of paper cutouts to wood surfaces, decrassify, to make less crass or boorish, decrement, a gradual decrease in quantity or quality, decrepitate, to crackle, to roast so as to cause to crackle, decrescent, becoming gradually less, decretal, of, like or pertaining to a decree, decretal, papal decree deciding a point of church law, decrudescence, diminution or reduction of a disease, decuman, principal, large, primary, decumbent, lying down, reclining onto ground, decumbiture, the time spent by an invalid in bed, decurrent, extending or running downwards, decurtate, a reduce, shorten or abbreviate, decussate, to divide in the form of an X, to cross or intersect, dedans, spectators at a court tennis match, dedition, surrender, capitulation, deductivism, belief in the superiority of deduction over induction, deke, look at, see, deemster, judge on the Isle of Man, defalcate, to embezzle money held on trust, defeasible, that may be annulled, defenestration, throwing a person or object out a window, deferris, to remove iron from, defervescence, abatement of heat, coolness, decrease of fever, defilade, to arrange fortifications against frontal attack, defiliation, depriving a parent of a child, definiens, word or words used in a dictionary definition, deflexia, deviation, deflocculate, to break down into small pieces, defluent, running down, decurrent, defluvium, falling of hair, dégagé, at rest, untroubled, at ease. Deglutinate, to unglue or unstick. Deglutition, the power or act of swallowing. Digression, gradual decrease, reduction in taxes. Degringolade, rapid decline or decay, downfall. Degu, rat-like rodent of South America. Degustation, eating in a series of small portions. Dehiss, to gape, to burst open. Dehor, outside of. Dehort, to dissuade. Deicide, destruction or killing of a god. Deictic, directly demonstrating something or some proposition. Deiform, appearing like or shaped like a god. Deiparous, bearing a god. Dymnosophy, learned dinner conversation. Depotent, having god-like power. Deism, belief in God but rejection of religion. Deixis, relating to time and place of a linguistic utterance. Delactation, weaning. Delane, light fabric of wool or mixed wool and cotton. Delaminate, to split into layers. Delate, to pass on, to charge with a crime. Delative, indicating motion downward. Delectus, anthology of useful passages or quotations. Delenda, things to be deleted or destroyed. Deleterious, harmful to body or mind. Delph, drain. Ditch, excavation. Delibate, to sip. Delegation, bandaging. Delignate, to remove wood from, to deprive of wood. Deliquesce, to melt into liquid by absorbing moisture. Deliration, madness. Aberration. Delirifacient, producing or creating delirium. Delatescent, latent. Delu, North African antelope. Delope, to fire one's gun into the air in a duel. Delphically, enigmatically, obscurely. Delphine, pertaining to the Dauphin of France. Delphinine, of, like or pertaining to dolphins. Deltiology, the collection and study of picture postcards. Deltoid, shaped like a delta or triangle. Delubrum, a font, a temple or shrine having a font. Demagogue, political agitator appealing to popular prejudices. Démarche, decisive course of action taken in diplomacy. Demarchy, government by the people, popular government. Demagoric, of, like or pertaining to demagogues or demagogic speech. Démenti, official denial or refusal. Demephites, to purify air. Demerge, to immerse, to plunge. Demersal subaqueous, living under water, sinking to the bottom. Domain, feudal manor house with adjacent lands. Demicaster, beaver pelt of poor quality. Beaver fur mixed with another type of fur. Demigration, change of abode. Demijohn, large bottle having a wicker case. Demisang, half-breed, hybrid. Demiurge, creative spirit or entity. Demogenic, of, like or pertaining to membership by citizenship rather than kinship. Demology, study of human behaviour. Demonarchy, government by a demon. Demonetize, to deprive of monetary value, to withdraw from circulation. Demonocracy, government by demons or evil forces. Demonography, study and description of demons. Demonolatry, worship of or devotion to demons. Demonology, study of demons. Demonomancy, divination using demons. Demonomania, pathological belief that one is possessed by demons. Demonosopher, one who is inspired by a demon or devil. Demonym, name for a resident of a place. Demotic, of, like or pertaining to the common people. Demulsant, emulsifier, something soothing. Demurrage, delay of vessel's departure or loading with cargo. Denary, one of 10, tenfold, of like or pertaining to group of 10. Dendriform, shaped like a tree. Dendritiform, branched. Dendrochronology, study of tree rings. Dendroid, tree-like, resembling a tree. Dendrolatry, worship of trees. Dendrology, study of trees. Dendrometer, instrument for measuring trees. Dendrophilus, fond of trees. Dienhole, vertical shaft having chambers at the base. Denier, unit of yarn fineness. Dennet, light two-wheeled carriage. Densimeter, instrument for measuring closeness of grain of a substance. Densitometer, instrument for measuring optical or photographic density. Dentigra, toothache. Dentillated, having small notches or teeth. Dentel, lace, lacework. Denticle, small tooth-like structure. Dentiform, shaped like a tooth. Dentigerous, toothed, bearing teeth. Dentiloquent, speaking with clenched teeth. Dentine, ivory-like material making up teeth. Dentiologist, one who speaks with closed teeth. Dentirostral, with notched beak. Deobstruent, something that removes an obstacle. Deodate, a gift to or from God. Deonerate, to disburden. Deontic, of or relating to duty or obligation. Deontology, the theory or study of moral obligation. Deopolis, to free from obstruction. Deordination, abnormality or irregularity. Deosumversion, turning downwards. Deosculate, to kiss affectionately. Depassant, eating. Depace, out of one's element or natural environment. Depeculation, embezzlement of public funds. Deponent, having a passive form but active meaning. Depotentiate, to deprive or divest of power. Deprehend, to catch, to seize. Depurate, to purify. Deracinate, to root up. Deray, to go wild, to derange. Derrick, of, like or pertaining to the skin. Dermatoglyphics, the study of skin patterns and fingerprints. Dermatoid, like or resembling skin. Dermatology, study of skin. Dermographia, condition where writing on skin causes red mark to form. Derradidimus, two-headed beast. Derrick, hoisting mechanism using a boom and a central post. Desacralize, to deprive or remove sacred qualities. Descriptivism, doctrine that moral judgments are equivalent to descriptive judgments. Describe, to describe. Desideratum, something which is greatly desired. Desiderium, longing or yearning. Desinent, terminal, ending. Decipient, playing the fool, trifling. Desman, large European muskrat. Desmology, study of ligaments. Désobligeant, carriage for one passenger. Despoliation, despoiling, despoilment. Despotocracy, government by despots or tyrants. Despumate, to throw off impurities in foam. To skim, to remove scum. Desquamate, to scale or flake off. Desudation, extreme sweating. Desuetude, state of disuse. Desultory, jumping from one thing to another, rambling, unplanned. Detertion, the act of cleaning. Detinue, wrongful seizure of property, action to recover it. Detort, to untwist, to twist the other way. Detrache, a person who is deranged. Detritivore, animal that eats decomposing organic matter. Detritus, waste or debris. Detrude, to thrust downward or outward. Detumescence, diminution of swelling. Deuteragonist, a person who serves as a foil to another. Deuterogamy, second marriage after the death of the first wife. Deuteropathy, second illness in addition to an initial one. Deuteroscopy, second view or meaning, second sight. Devol, to sink, to decline. Devotee, one to whom property is bequeathed in a will. Devoir, what is due, duty. Dewlap, turkey's wattle, flap of skin under the throat. Dexiotropic, turning to the right. Dexter, relating to the right side of a heraldic shield. Dexter, towards the right side. Dextroduction, shifting the eyes from left to right. Dextrogiratory, turning to the right. Dole, wild Indian dog. Diable, unglazed earthenware casserole. Diablerie, magic, sorcery, mischief. Diabolocracy, government by the devil. Diabology, study of devils. Diabrotic, corrosive. Diacatholicon, panacea. Diachoretic, laxative, diaclastic, refractory. Diaconal, of, like or pertaining to a deacon. Diaconicon, sacristy for sacred vessels in Orthodox churches. Diacope, deep wound or incision. Diacope, rhetorical separation of a compound word by a third word. Tamesis. Diacoustic, of, like or pertaining to the refraction of sound. Diacritic, making a distinction, aiding a diagnosis or evaluation. Diactinal, having two pointed ends. Diadermic, of, like, or pertaining to the puncturing of the skin. Diadrom, coarse or passing. Vibration. Diaeresis, two dots placed over a vowel to indicate a syllable break, naive. Diagenesis, production of rock out of sediment. Diaglyph, figure etched or engraved in surface of gem or stone. Intaglio. Diagometer, instrument for measuring electrical conductivity. Diagraph, instrument for enlarging or projecting drawings. Diagraphics, art of making diagrams or drawings. Dialectology, study of dialects. Dialogue, device in which many arguments brought upon one point. Dialelus, circular argument. Dialogism, rhetorical discussion in form of an imaginary dialogue. Diamante, glittering. Decoration using glitter. Diamantiferous, bearing diamonds. Dianoetic, capable of, like or pertaining to thought. Diaphanometer, instrument for measuring the transparency of air. Diaphanous, transparent, translucent. Diaphone, a low-pitched fog signal consisting of two tones. Diaphoresis, artificially induced sweat. Diaparesis, rhetorical expression of uncertainty of which of two options to adopt. Diapiesis, release or discharge of pus. Diarchy, government by two people. Diascuist, reviser, interpolator. Diaspora, dispersion. Diastema, space between teeth. Diastematic, moving through the pores. Diastrophe, upheaval or drastic modification of the Earth's crust. Diacerm, rhetorical device of condemning through faint praise. Diatessaron, medicine of 4 ingredients. Diathermic, permeable to or able to conduct radiant heat. Diathesis, particular condition of body or mind, predisposing factor. Diatypesis, rhetorically vivid and clear description of a subject. Diolos, ancient Greek double flute. Dibatag, Somalian antelope with recurved horns. Dibble, pointed tool for making holes for seeds or plants. dicacity, raillery, banter. Dikaeology, defending oneself in argument by claiming justification. Dicephalous, two-headed. Dicephalous, conjoined twins with two heads. Dicerus, two-horned, having two antennae. Dichogamous, having males and females maturing at different rates. Dichord, musical instrument with two strings. Dichroscope, instrument for examining crystals for dichroism. Didact, a person given to lecturing or moralizing. Didapper, someone who disappears and bobs up again. Didascalic, didactic, pertaining to education or teaching. Didakoi, itinerant tinker or scrap dealer. Didelphine, of, like or pertaining to opossums. Didelphus, marsupial or pouched mammal. Didgeridoo, Australian Aboriginal instrument consisting of a long wood or bamboo tube. Didine, of, like or pertaining to dodos. Didymus, twin, twinned, growing in pairs. Diectasis, extending line of verse by adding extra syllable. Diegesis, the narration of facts. Diesis, double dagger sign. Distrus, period of sexual inactivity. Diffariation, Roman form of divorce. Differentia, property which distinguishes one from another. Diffident, overly shy or modest. Definity, lack of similarity or affinity. Diffluent, readily flowing away. Diffract, to break up into segments or portions. Diffractometer, instrument for determining structure of crystal through light diffraction. Diffrangible, capable of being diffracted or separated. Diffugent, dispersing, diffusing. Dight, disposed, adorned, clothed. Digitate, having or resembling fingers. Digitiform, shaped like a finger. Digitigrade, walking on the toes alone. Digitorium, silent piano for practicing. Digladiate, to fight with swords, to fence. Digonal, figure such that a half-turn gives the same figure. Digonutic, double-brooded. Digraph, two letters expressing a single sound. Dijudicate, to judge, to decide. Dick, small East African antelope. Dilacerate, to rend or tear asunder. Dilaniate, to tear to pieces. Dilatometer, instrument for measuring expansion. Dilatory, slow, given to delay or procrastination. Dilettante, dabbler or lover of fine arts. Dilogical, ambiguous, having two meanings. Dilogy, intentional ambiguousness. Dilruba, Indian stringed instrument like a small sitar. Diluent, diluting. Diluvial, of, like or pertaining to floods, especially mythical ones. Dimorous, consisting of two parts. Dimidiate, divided into halves. Dimissary, sending away or giving leave to depart, dismissing. Dimity, sheer and stout white cotton. Dinandary, bronze-coloured metal alloy used for decorative vessels. Dynarchy, government by two people. Diarchy. Dinic, of, like or pertaining to vertigo or dizziness. Dinomania, mania for dancing. Denumeration, numbering of rhetorical points one by one. Dioecious, having male and female sexual organs in different individuals. Diogenic, cynical. Dionym, name containing two parts or terms. Dioptometer, instrument for measuring focus or refraction of the eyes. Dioptry, unit of measurement of power of lens or eye. Dioptric, transparent. Dioptrics, study of light refraction. Diorism, distinction, definition. Diathesis, a critical revision of a text, any correction or adjustment. diotic, affecting both ears, diphyletic, descended from two distinct ancestral groups, diffeodont, having second set of teeth that replaces the first, diphysitism, belief in the dual nature of Christ, dipel, mark in margin of text to indicate rejected verses or new paragraph, dipleidoscope, instrument for measuring moment when an object passes a meridian, diplocephalus, two-headed monster, diplogenesis, doubling of ordinarily single organ or part, diplograph, instrument for writing two lines of text at once, diplomatics, science of deciphering ancient writings and texts, diplomatology, study of diplomats, diplopia, double vision, dipnus, having both lungs and gills, dipydro, person who often changes mind, diprionedion, serrated on both sides, diprotodon, gigantic prehistoric marsupial with two incisors in lower jaw, dipsetic, causing to be thirsty, dipsomania, abnormal craving for alcohol, dipsosis, pathological great thirst, diptote, noun taking two grammatical cases only, diptych, pair of pictures on hinged panels, register of bishops and saints, diremption, separation into two, disjunction, dirigent, guiding, dirigible, able to be directed, dirigism, state control in economic and social spheres, diriment, condition of legal nullification, disafforest, to clear of forest, to disforest, disagio, fee charged for exchanging foreign or depreciated currency, disbosom, to make known, to reveal, discalced, without shoes, barefoot, a religious order wearing no shoes, discarnate, disembodied, separated from the body, decept, to dispute, to debate, discerptible, able to be separated, disiform, round or oval in shape, deciduous, bearing a disc or discus, distinct, ungirded, decision, open incision or cut, discobolus, discus thrower, discography, catalogue or listing of musical recordings, discomania, obsession for disco music, discombobulate, to disconcert, to upset, discommodious, inconvenient, discophile, one who loves and studies sound recordings, discophoran, of, like or pertaining to jellyfishes, discountenance, to abash, to discourage, disculpate, to free from blame, disembog, to discharge or eject into the sea, disembrangle, to free from dispute, disuse, female orator or reciter of verse, disgarnish, to despoil, disgeneric, being of a different genus, disgregation, separation, scattering, disillude, to free from illusion, disimmure, to liberate, to release from walls, disinure, to render unfamiliar, disjection, scattering or dispersion, disomus, monster with two bodies, disorbed, deprived of authority or sovereignty, dispendious, extravagant, expensive, dispitous, pitiless, malicious, dispone, to set in order, dispose, disponge, to sprinkle or discharge as if from a sponge, disport, to play about, frolic or gambol, dispread, to spread in different ways, dispurvey, to deprive of provisions, disquisition, carefully argued examination of a topic, disseize, to seize or deprive of property wrongfully, dissentient, one who dissents, dissenter, dissepiment, partition or separation of tissue. Dissilient, springing apart, bursting open with force. Dissimulate, to pretend, to feign, to fake. Dissolute, of loose morals, debauched. Distaff, of like or pertaining to the female branch of a family or women's work. Distitious, in or having 2 rows. Distraint, seizure of goods. Distraite, distracted, inattentive. Distributary, branch of river that flows away from the mainstream. Distributive, indicating separate members of a group one at a time. Dit, poem, words of a song. Ditheism, belief in 2 equal gods, one good and one evil. Ditheletism, doctrine that Christ had 2 wills. Dithyrambic, passionate, ecstatic, frenzied. Diticus, producing 2 at a birth or in a clutch. Ditrichotomous, divided into either 2 or 3 parts. Ditography, unintentional repetition of letters in print. Ditology, double reading or interpretation. Diurnation, hibernating or sleeping during daylight. Diuturnal, lasting long. Divagate, to digress, wander about. Divaricate, to divide into 2 branches. Divellant, drawing apart, pulling apart in pieces. Diversiloquent, speaking in different ways, speaking on different subjects. Diverticulum, blind passage or tunnel. Divisim, separately. Divulsion, act of pulling or rendering apart or away. Dixit, individual's uncorroborated statement. Diesen, to dress up, to dress gaudily. Dobbin, workhorse. Dbash, interpreter. Dobson fly, soft-bodied insect with large mandibles. Docimacy, scrutiny, assaying, application of tests. Docimology, the art of assaying. Doctiloquent, speaking learnedly. Doddered, decayed with loss of branches. Dodecaphid, divisible into 12 parts or regions. Dodecarchy, government by 12 people. Dodger, shield against rain or spray on a ship's bridge. Dodoism, stupid remark. Dogcart, light 2-wheeled carriage with seats back to back. Dog watch, a short evening period of watch duty on a ship. Doit, a trifle or minor thing. Dole, unit for measuring intensity of pain. Dolabrate, of, like or pertaining to axes or hatchets. Dolabriform, resembling a hatchet or a cleaver. Dole, one who receives a government benefit, especially unemployment benefits. Dolent, mourning. Doleful. Dolichocephalic, long-headed. Dolicopodus, having long feet. Doliiform, shaped like a barrel. Dolmen, prehistoric structure or tomb of unhewn stones. Doloriferous, bearing grief or pain. Dolorific, causing great sadness or sorrow. Dolos, having evil or malicious intent. Domal, of, like or pertaining to a house or dome. Domet, plain cotton wool blend. Dominicide, killing or killer of one's master. Domptus, female animal trainer. Donary, thing given for a sacred purpose. Donative, benefice presented to church without reference to bishop. Donne, basic assumption or axiom, basic principle of an artwork. Donism, self-importance. Donnybrook, an uproarious brawl. Dontopedalogy, putting one's foot in one's mouth. Doomster, judge, pessimist. Dop, copper cup for holding a diamond while cutting it. Doppio, double meter Renaissance dance step. Doramania, obsession with owning furs. Doria, striped cotton muslin. Dormer, gabled window. dormition, falling asleep, death. Dornic, stout linen, doromania, obsession with giving gifts. Dorsod, towards the back. Dorsiventral, having differentiated opposite faces or surfaces. Doriphorus, sculpture of a spear-bearer. Dosidos, carriage where passengers seated back to back. Dosimeter, instrument for measuring dose of radiation. Dosimetry, measurement of doses of drugs. Dosiology, the study of doses. Dossal, ornamental cloth hung behind and above an altar. Dossal, plug, spigot, wad of lint for wiping a wound. Dotation, endowment or donation. Douanier, customs official. Doublet, copy of own artwork made by an artist. Duke, southern Chinese monkey. Douce, savoury tart baked in sweet dough. Douceur, gentleness or sweetness, a subtly offered bribe. Doulocracy, government by slaves. Duruculi, small South American nocturnal monkey. Dowitcher, long-billed North American wading bird. Dowless, coarse linen. Downhaul, rope for holding down or hauling down a sail or spar. Doxastic, of, like or pertaining to opinion. Doxographer, compiler of opinions of philosophers. Doxology, hymn or verse of praise to God. Drabbet, coarse linen, drabbled to besmear, bedraggle. Draconiform, shaped like a dragon. Draconites, jewel supposedly found inside a dragon's head. Draffish, worthless. Dragoir, box for holding sweetmeats. Drogoman, interpreter, dragonism, unremitting watchfulness. Dragonade, persecution by military means. Dragoon, to compel by military bullying, to compel by force. Drail, iron bow of a plough, heavy fish hook. Dramaturgy, art of producing and staging dramatic works. Draptoberry, old woolen cloth. Draptomania, intense desire to run away from home. Dreadnought, heavy woolen cloth. Dreamery, a place favourable to dreams. Dree, to endure or withstand. Drecanter, three-faced pebble worn by wind. Drepaniform, shaped like a sickle. Drepanoid, like a sickle. Drill, durable twilled cotton. Dripstone, stone projection used to dispose of rainwater. Driromancy, divination by observing dripping blood. Drogay, ribbed woolen dress fabric. Drogulus, entity whose existence is unverifiable due to lack of physical effects. Drollery, drollness, comic show, jest. Dromestoners, persons who remove stones from temporary airfields. Dromic, of, like or pertaining to a racecourse. Drumomania, compulsive longing for travel. Drumometer, instrument for measuring speed. Dromond, large single-sailed ship powered by rowers. Dromophobia, fear of crossing streets. Drosky, low four-wheeled open carriage. Drosometer, instrument for measuring dew. Drugget, coarse durable wool fabric. Drumlin, long hill formed by glacial retreat. Drung, narrow road or path to a pasture. Drupaceous, of, like or pertaining to drupes or stone fruits. Druxy, having decayed spots concealed by healthy wood. Dry gulch, to murder by pushing off a cliff. Drysalter, seller of dry goods and chemicals. Duarchy, government by two people. Diarchy. Duoff, fictitious 19-toed fish of Erewhon. Dubiety, doubtfulness. Dubitace, to doubt, to hesitate. Dubitative, mood signifying doubt or incertitude. Ducape, plain woven stout silk fabric. Dukedam, meaningless refrain. Duck, durable closely woven cotton fabric, duck amphibious military truck, duktia, vigorous stamping dance, dudgeon, resentment, offended resignation, duende, power to attract through personal charm, duenna, governess, chaperone, duffel, fabric of thick low-quality woolen cloth, dugong, aquatic herbivorous mammal like the manatee, duiker, small African antelope, dulcian, a small early bassoon, dulcifluous, flowing sweetly, dulciloquent, speaking sweetly, dulia, inferior veneration of saints and angels in comparison with God, dulocracy, government by slaves, dulocracy, dulosis, slavery practiced by animals, especially ants, dumose, bushy, dump, obsolete English dance in 4/4 time, dun, dull greyish-brown, dunsicle, stupid, dim-witted, dungaree, heavy coarse durable twilled cotton, usually coloured, dunivassel, a Scottish gentleman, dunnage, wood laid in hold to keep cargo dry and safe, dunnart, mouse-like marsupial with pointed snout, duodenary, of, like or pertaining to the number 12, duomachi, duel or fight between two people, dupion, coarse silk, duramen, heartwood, durance, stout heavy wool-based fabric, durante, durative, continuing, not completed, undergoing transformation, dure to last, to endure, durity, hardness, durometer, instrument for measuring hardness of substances, duroi, coarse woolen, duteous, devoted to duty, obedient, dumvirat, governing council or body of two individuals, duvetin, smooth, lustrous, velvety fabric, dwale, stupefying drink, dwile, floor cloth or mop, diarchy, government by two people, diarchy, dynamogenesis, production of increased nerve activity, dynamograph, instrument for recording mechanical forces, dynamometer, instrument for measuring mechanical force, dyne, unit of force to accelerate 1 gram to 1 centimeter per second, diagram, ship's chart indicating compass deflection due to ship's iron, diphone, double lute with 50 strings, dysesthesia, loss of sensation, dysania, having a hard time waking up in the morning, dysbulia, loss of willpower, dyscroa, discoloration of the skin, dyschromatopic, colorblind, dysgenesis, sterility in hybrid creatures, dysgenics, the study of racial degeneration, dyslogia, inability to express ideas due to mental incompetence, dyslogistic, conveying censure, opprobrious, dysmorphophobia, fear of physical deformities, dysphagia, pathological difficulty in swallowing, dysphemism, replacement of an inoffensive by an offensive word, dysphonia, physical abnormality causing speech impediment, dysphoria, uneasiness, restlessness, general depression, dystectic, not easily fused, dysteleology, study of purposeless organs, doctrine of purposelessness, dystocia, difficult childbirth, dystopia, place where all is as bad as possible, zigitai, Mongolian wild ass. You've just wandered through a quiet garden of forgotten words, each one a whisper, a rhythm, a resting place for your thoughts. There's no need to remember them. They were here only to guide you, gently, into stillness. If you're still awake, that's okay. Just let the silence wrap around you now. and when sleep comes, let it be soft and full of wonder. Good night.